Obsidian Spears, the Slumbering Tide. The fortress-monastery of the Obsidian Spears was a place of stone, silence and sea song. Its halls were cut deep into the volcanic rock of Tuarua's Isles, black stone glistening with salt spray carried in from the ocean winds. Lumen strips hummed faintly, casting pale light across Aquila mosaics, and the carved spirals of wave crests etched into the walls. The initiates were supposed to be at study, their evening lessons in chapter lore still unfinished. But youth, even wrapped in ceramite, carried its own tides of restlessness. Tonight, they whispered in the shadow of a long, echoing corridor, their eyes bright with mischief. One of them crouched beside a trundling data servitor, stylus in hand. The machine was designed to log corridor inspections, its picked recorder screen blinking dully on its front plate. The initiate scratched jagged letters across the glassy surface, careful not to trip the servitor's limited alarms. When he pulled the stylus away, the others leaned close. The crude etching was unmistakable, a barnacle-encrusted dreadnought faceplate glaring beneath the words, "Tahu sleeps, Emperor weeps." A grin tugged at the corners of one initiate's mouth. He shifted his weight, glancing over his shoulder as if expecting a chaplain to materialize from the dark. "He'll never see it," whispered another, a note of bravado undercut by the tightness in his voice. "He's half asleep until the war horns call. A servitor won't rouse him." A third smirked, lips quirking. "And if it does, what can he do, lumber out of his shell and chase us through the halls?" That earned them a few suppressed snorts of amusement, though their shoulders tensed as they wheeled the servitor forward. Its picked screen glowed faintly with the defaced image as it rolled toward a set of enormous adamantine doors, the sarcophagus chamber of Brother Tahu. The initiates lingered at the far end of the hall, breath held. The servitor came to a stop, screen facing the sealed doors like some absurd herald. "Harmless," one of them murmured. "A little salt in the tide, he'll never know." For a heartbeat, only silence. The fortress hummed with the low chorus of air pumps and distant machinery. The initiates began to grin at one another, emboldened by the stillness. Then the doors groaned. A deep grinding echoed, metal shifting like the slow weight of tectonic plates. Hydraulics hissed. Gears clanked somewhere in the chamber's dark. The air thickened, pressing against their lungs as though the sea itself had crept into the monastery. The initiates froze, every breath caught. A voice bellowed, not spoken so much as unleashed, booming like a tidal wave breaking against iron cliffs. "Who dares mock me?" The roar rattled mosaics from the walls. Dust shook loose from the vaulted ceiling. The servitor jolted and careened sideways into the stone, picked screen squealing static. The initiates broke. Panic shattered their composure, and they fled down opposite corridors like a shoal of fish scattered by a predator's strike. Their boots clanged on the stone, their earlier whispers drowned by the continuing roar. "Show yourselves, cowards. I shall teach you the memory of the sea." The sound chased them, rolling down every corridor, seeping into the monastery's stone bones. The halls trembled with it, until even the chapter statues seemed to flinch. At last, the echoes thinned. The only sound left was the servitor's glitching whine, its defaced screen flickering between the scrawl and a haze of static. Then came another set of footsteps. Brother Captain Coata emerged from the shadows, helm cradled beneath his arm. His black and turquoise plate gleamed faintly under the lumen strips, though his expression was one of tired resignation rather than fury. He stopped before the adamantine doors, gazing down at the vandalized servitor. With a gauntleted hand, he rubbed his thumb across the etched words, smearing the insult until only a blur of scratches remained. The servitor blinked once, its picked screen flickering back to normal, as if relieved of its humiliation. Coata sighed. "Barnacles on your own heads, little fish." Another roar thundered from within the chamber. "Do not think to hide from me. I shall find you, Coata's lips twitched. A quiet sound escaped his throat. Not quite laughter, but something close. Half memory, half sympathy. He glanced at the doors, remembering a younger self. Decades ago, he and 3 fellow initiates had dared something equally foolish. They had carved glyphs into the training cages, mocking the ponderous gait of the ancient warrior encased within. They had been caught, of course. Coata could still hear that same bellow rattling the walls, could still feel the quake of Tahu's wrath reverberating in his bones. The punishment had been weeks of silence duty, endless hours stationed in the monastery's deepest watchposts, where the sea's roar was the only company. At the time, it had felt unbearable. Now it was memory, salted by fondness. Coata turned away, the ghost of a smile tugging at his lips. "Every tide comes round again," he murmured. "Let them taste what we once did." His steps echoed softly as he departed, helm tucked beneath his arm. Behind him, the venerable dreadnought bellowed anew, his voice rolling through the halls with ageless outrage. "I'll have your spines polished into tridents." Coata shook his head, the faintest chuckle breaking free at last. "The sea forgets nothing," he said quietly. "Nor does Tahu." Join the Discord. Link in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you have enjoyed this story.